Okay, this project was, I think it was a little more work than I realized it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a big project, and that's why I've been putting it off for probably close to a year, but I finally tackled our dresser. Hey, I'm Janelle. This is toDIYfor. If you're new to my channel, I do new DIYs every week, and I do tend to do smaller scale projects, but every once in a while I get into a big one, and it ends up taking me longer than I thought it would. But this definitely needed to happen. Our dresser was not only hideous, but it was not functioning. Like, the drawer pulls were falling off of it. So I'm so thrilled with this transformation because it was really, really inexpensive to do. And I kind of tried something new to get that natural wood back into it with a piece that I thought was real wood, but it actually just turned out to be veneer. So let me show you how I did this transformation. Here she is in all her beauty. I have hated this dresser since my boyfriend moved it in. As you can see, some of the handles have fallen off. This entire door fell off. I mean, she's in rough condition, and I also don't really love this. I'm gonna get rid of that too. So first things first, I'm just gonna remove all of this hideous hardware. And we're basically gonna prep this for painting. I'm gonna sand everything down, and what I had originally thought I would do was actually sand down a few of the drawers to the raw wood, but like I said earlier, it's just a cheap veneer, so had to replan that. I cut that off with my jigsaw, and again, sanding down the entire dresser here. We're just doing a rough sand on everything, basically to prep the surface to be painted. So it doesn't need to be perfect. You're gonna wipe everything down, and here it got a little bit messy. I had to use a little bit of wood filler to kind of fill in some of the cracks. That didn't come off as nice as I had hoped it would, but we're gonna sand that down before we do the painting as well. So for the painting, I am using Behr paint. It is called Leather Limousine. It is a black color that I've used in my house previously, and just buy the sample cans of paint. They're just like little kind of cartons. I actually used 2 of these for this entire project, and that's $10 worth of paint. So really, really affordable. I went in with my brush to get in all of those crevices, and then you're gonna wanna use a roller to do as much as you possibly can. This is going to give you a smoother finish, and I did do 2 coats of paint on this entire project. If you're working with a lighter color, you might need to do more. These bottom drawers here, I had to fill in the holes, so I did some polyfill in there and allowed that to dry and sanded it down, went in with my second coat of paint. That's because the hardware that I bought doesn't actually align with those holes. For these other dressers that I've only painted the black on the exterior side, I picked up these things from the dollar store. So these sticks here, they're kind of supposed to be for labeling your garden. They're just little wooden spears. They're very thin wood that go into, the ground. And you might not be able to find them that easily at the dollar store anymore. It's kind of a spring summer product that they carry. I think I bought around 6 packages to cover 4 dressers, and they're $1.25 a piece, so it's really affordable. I just simply used wood glue to glue them all into place. They fit perfectly across this dresser. This could not have gone better. And then I'm using my speed square here, lining that up and cutting them with an X-Acto knife. So because they're so thin, the X-Acto knife, a couple of scrapes through in that cut through it perfectly, and then they just kind of break off. We're gonna seal everything with some polyurethane. I did 2 coats on the entire dresser, and then I did 3 coats on the top of the dresser, just because I think that's gonna have a little bit more wear and tear. Make sure you sand in between coats for a nice smooth finish. And once everything's cured and done, we're gonna go in with the hardware. And I think this really brings the whole piece together. I wasn't loving it before I added the hardware on, but I got these really beautiful gold hexagons for the dressers that I covered with the wood. And then for the bottom drawers, which are larger, I got these slightly larger pieces of hardware from Home Depot, and I'll leave everything linked below that I used. But just a small tip on doing hardware that actually requires 2 screws: make the hole slightly larger than the screws actually, so that If you're a little bit off, which believe me, I was, you can actually manipulate them. So while you're twisting them shut, you can kind of shift them up or down in those holes if they're a little bit larger than the screws, and that will help you level them out. That's the best tip I can give. I'm not a pro at this, but I do believe that that helps when hanging up my hardware, specifically for those bottom pieces that needed to look straight and be straight and had the 2 screws in them. But that's the final project, and I love how this dresser turned out. Let me know what you think.